It's February and it's 72 degrees today. It feels like May rather than February. I don't. Mother Nature's having mood swings or something. I mean, that's fine because I hate cold weather. And I'm actually one of the few people who prefers sweltering hot than freezing cold still. But ideally, I like spring and autumn are like the best times of year, weather-wise. So welcome to my reading corner. I am going to share you another Top 5 Wednesday, and if you are new to Top 5 Wednesday, it is a Goodreads group created by Ginger Reads Laney and Sam from Thoughts on Tomes, who is the current host. And this week's topic is, let me check, I don't remember. Oh wait, I remember now. Independent ladies. Women that they don't need a man. If they have a romantic subplot, that's awesome, that's cool, but they essentially don't need a guy in their life. Okay, oh, I left that. Okay, so this time I just wrote these on a little notepad because I came up with them really quick right before I went to bed last night. And I just wrote them down somewhere because I'll probably forget. Okay, so, let's start with the number one being Mia Covert. Now to be honest here, I've only got halfway through Nevernight, and it doesn't mean I don't like it, it's just, again, I'm a very moody reader. But, and if you watched my video that I filmed about, it should be up. I think it will be up by the time I upload by when this one is uploaded. I'm not sure. But if that one is up, there's a discussion video where I talk about how hype does influence me. And that's one of those books where I've heard quite a bit about it. That it's almost like I still am interested, but it's not as prominent. It's not number one on my list to read right now. But anyway, this woman, Mia, she is basically on a revenge mission. And she is trained to be an assassin. And I remember when I first heard about this book, a lot of people were saying that Mia Covert is how they wanted Celaena Sardothien to be in Throne of Glass. Now, Throne of Glass was a good book, and Celaena was a great character, and it was nice that we got to see, she could kick ass, but she also was girly girl. But then at the same time, though, I feel like a lot of people's criticisms, and I agree, is that we didn't see enough of her. She's an assassin, and she's supposed to be the most badass assassin in the realm, and we hadn't seen any of that killing at all, which, okay, morally, her not wanting to kill people for the king, that's great, it's a good moral, it's a good moral thing to follow, and it provided a little bit of a moral dilemma that she was an assassin and she was working for someone that she hated, who had persecuted her people, but yeah, we want, she was an assassin, and we didn't see any proof of the kick-ass assassinry that she was. But with this one, people actually die in the series. She actually kills people. Mia does. And it's awesome, and she doesn't, give a rat's ass. And, we see her, she ends up traveling with this guy to get to this assassin training school, and she doesn't even there's no established romantic relationship between them. Although now I don't think he's going to be the main love interest from the hints I've gotten over the years. I think there's someone else who's going to be the potential love interest. But I think if I'm remembering it correctly, because it's been a few months since I read the first half of the book, that Mia seems to have that attitude of, I'll have sex with you and I like you as a friend, but I'm more focused on getting my revenge from my parents who were accused of being traitors. So, so that is, I think that's definitely, that shows her independence how she doesn't need a guy in her life, how she doesn't want a guy in her life. So, and even though I've said in the past I like romance in my fantasy books, I can understand why people don't want it in their fantasy books, and sometimes it is refreshing when the romance isn't part of the story. Or I just at least don't want to dominate the story. Like, as I've grown as a reader, I don't like stories where it's dominated by romance. And this, and clearly so far this story is not This story is about this girl trying to be an assassin and getting revenge. And trying to also survive the school because already, we established that there's someone who sees her as the enemy because that person is the daughter of one of the person that her father supposedly killed, I think. I'm not sure if I remember that correctly, but yeah, Mia Covert is awesome and independent, and she's awesome. Character number 2, the female number 2, is Cersei Lannister. Cersei is, like a lot of you, like most of these girls, is kind of a bitch. But she's an awesome bitch that you love. You love her or you love to hate her. She is someone who will do whatever it takes to get what she wants and is very ambitious. And of course, she's in a world and a time where women are just meant to keep up morale and make the baby, find a husband and make the babies, and look pretty and stuff. And no, she's not having that. She is doing whatever is necessary to keep the Iron Throne in her family, and loves her children more than anything. And she does have a romantic, incestuous, inappropriate relationship with her brother, but that's a whole other story. I mean, she doesn't even need that. I mean, she only is with guys because certain guys, or marries certain guys because she wants what they have. She wants the power. She wants to be in charge, and will do whatever it takes to get what she wants, to be in charge, to run things, to sit on the Iron Throne. And now, of course, with the show's a little bit ahead of me in the books because I had read the first 3 books, but I didn't finish book 3. So it's been quite a long time, so I decided to reread the first 2 books and read the half of the 3rd book that I had already read. So I'm still on book 2, but I mean, these are chunky books. So with chunky books, it takes me quite a while to read them. But anyway, Cersei, she doesn't need a man. She could be a queen if they allowed her, or if she found a way. I mean, she'll kill you if you cross her, or do something to you. I'll come back to that one because I don't want to do another Song of Ice and Fire character right after. So, next I will do, this one is the one I remember not as well as the others, and that is Zoya from the Grisha trilogy. Now, and of course I think Zoya will, do what she, to, get a guy's attention, make herself look pretty and everything, but she is also someone, if I'm remembering her correctly, that does not need that. She is a bitch, but she's a tough bitch. She will not let you piss her off or push her down, and she is honest and blunt. She kind of reminds me of Anya from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She's that character that you find her funny and you're like, well, at least she's honest. But at the same time, if you were the one she was being honest about, you'd also hate her. Because she would be really mean and very... Sorry, okay, that's better. She would be very mean to you and not sugarcoat things. Sorry, I'm trying to not let the sun shine right on the screen. And she'll be incredibly honest with you, and she's also very powerful. And, she was one of the people who survived the war between Alina and the Darkling. So, I mean, and, as much as on the one hand, sometimes I want to smack her, on the other hand, I also admire her. And I personally don't think she doesn't need a man. She's an independent, strong woman. Next one is a classic heroine, and that is Scarlett O'Hara or I should say protagonist, Scarlett O'Hara from Gone with the Wind. Now, of course, not the whole original book. There was a sequel written by someone else called Scarlett. But throughout the whole original book, original classic, Scarlett, yeah, she was obsessed with Ashley Wilkes and winning, and she was all in love with him and everything. And then she has this very toxic, complicated, messy relationship between Rhett Butler, who's in love with her, but she doesn't love him. But she's attracted to him. So yeah, there's a lot of romance in the story and a lot of drama and all that. But this is a woman that survived the Civil War. And she's tough. She's a hard ass. She is like Cersei, she's living in a world where women are just meant to be the pretty ornaments on a man's arm. They're just the ones who make the babies and take care of the household. But of course, even though housework is pretty hard, people don't give women credit for doing it. Men don't give women credit for doing that. They don't realize how difficult it is. And now, of course, now in this 21st century, I'm pretty sure a lot of men, if not all men, have realized how hard housework is. It may not be like the kind of physical labor they do, but it's physical labor in its own way. But she was a woman that was constantly judged and ridiculed all the time, and she was in love with a man, a married man and everything that she couldn't have, and another man was in love with her, but she, had to come, I feel like her feelings for Rhett Butler were very complicated. But she was also ambitious and did what was necessary, and yeah, she married quite a few men, and a lot of it was to get Ashley Wilkes' attention, and in the sequel, it was to get Rhett Butler's attention, but she was, she did what was necessary, and one of the guys that she married had his own business, and she took over the business, and she did the things that the guy, Frank, could not do, the things that he didn't want to do, because he was, he was one of those nice guys, he didn't want to, charge people, and she's very business oriented, and she has a very intelligent mind, despite being someone who is, despite being focused on her, despite the fact that she is selfish and vain and very focused on stealing Ashley Wilkes away from Melanie, his cousin, which that part of that story always weirded me out. It's like me being betrothed to Jordan, my cousin Jordan, who's actually visiting. It would be very weird. Although I don't know if I would. Well, although he's a guy, so I don't think it would matter the fact that he's younger than me. But anyway, so yeah, I thought that was kind of weird. But she, Scarlett will do whatever she has to, and I feel like even though she wants a man and knows that in the society she has to have a man, she has to get married and but I think she would be fine on her own. I don't think she would need a guy in her life. I think there are a lot of female characters that they do end up having a love interest in the story, like, Jane Eyre or Elizabeth Bennet. Okay, I just scratched myself out. Who I feel like, even though they do have a love interest, they're confident in themselves that they don't need a man in their lives. They don't need they do in the sense of society, what society tells them, but I think they would be fine without a guy. Although, I think Jane Eyre has more issues than just, I think she deserves to be loved, and she hasn't got a lot of that, and so for a lot of the people that she's loved, she's lost them in some way. Like the one best friend that she made at that stupid school died of typhoid because the stupid headmaster was not considering the whole health issues because he was a cheapskate and didn't care. It was all Mr. Disciplinarian and one of those crazy people that makes religion look bad. It's the reason that I say I don't like religion. I'm spiritual. But yeah, Scarlett I think she would be, she may not be a warrior or a fighter in the physical sense, but in the mental sense, She is a tough, strong woman. She's stronger than Melanie Wilkes. I mean, although, I have such mixed feelings about Melanie Wilkes' character in Gone with the Wind. On the one hand, I think she's a little insipid and annoying. On the other hand, I think she's a different kind of strength than Scarlett. I mean, because she, like Scarlett, survived the war and, was left alone and almost lost her husband. And, you admire her for always believing, never doubting Scarlett, never believing anything negative about Scarlett. Even when everybody was gossiping and saying, and saying about her and Ashley, and everyone kind of knew that her and Ashley had a history, but it's like, Melanie never believed that and always was loyal. And she was a better person than Scarlett. But, yes, like, Scarlett was a much more interesting character to read, female character to read about. But yeah, she's badass in a different way. Okay, so the last one is another Game of Thrones character, and that is Arya Stark. Now, I was debating about putting her in here, because in the actual book, she's a lot younger than the show seems to imply. Like, she starts out as 9 years old. Now, I think in the show she started as 9, too. But, like, currently in the show, the actress is, like, a teenager, like 16, 17 years old. But I don't know how old the character is supposed to be at the time the show was taking place. But, and people in the show, at least, people ship her and Gendry together. And maybe she would marry as an adult. Who knows? If he survives in Westeros, if he's still around, then I could see, I could see them being together. I ship it too. But Arya, she's a tough woman. She is trained with the Faceless Assassins, Syrio, the water dancer guy. She knows how to, use a sword, and she survived, traveling in the woods. She had to disguise herself as a boy. She survived being around all these boys. She pretended to be. She's one of the surviving Stark family members. And this girl is one tough little chicklet, and even when she starts being interested in boys, I don't think she does not need a man. She's good. She can be an assassin for her sister. She can be her military person or whatever. You have or her assassin, her undercover assassin, what Shade and Fitz do in Robin Hobbs, her Farseer trilogy. She could be like that. I could see them being, they'd be an interesting couple. Fitz and Arya Stark, and they live in a similar kind of world. So seeing them together would be a very interesting dynamic. They'd be a very, very cute couple, I think. But anyway, she can defend herself. She's she even was able to in the show, because I'm not there in the books, but in the show I know that she was, she kicked Brienne's butt. She was even better than her, and her and Sansa were able to trick Littlefinger to get him to. Of course, it helped that their brother had some information, had some information about that what Littlefinger did to how he betrayed their father and everything. So yeah, she's unlike Cersei, she's a little nicer, or she's not as manipulative as Cersei. But you also don't want to cross her path either. So yeah, so these are my top 5 independent ladies of fiction. Would love to know who your top 5 favorite independent ladies of fiction are. I will put the Goodreads group, the link to the Goodreads group below if you are interested in doing it. And if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and click subscribe if you haven't already, and click the bell icon below if you want to be notified when I post new videos. And as always, I hope you are enjoying your reading, and I will talk to y'all later. Alright, bye!